Okay, so I am a week postpartum and quite tired and in recovery. My father-in-law is a retired doctor, a general practitioner to be precise. He is generally a kind man and we haven't had issues the 10 years I've been with my husband. When I was in the third trimester, I noticed he made a lot of unwarranted and unsolicited comments with regards to my condition. For instance, I had gestational diabetes. He seemed to disagree with the advice of my highly regarded endocrinologist. Then he asked me when I was getting induced into labour and said I should be induced at 38 weeks because of my gestational diabetes, age, and the possibility of placental degradation and stillbirth. I found that incredibly insensitive and told my husband that if he says one more thing about my body and our birth choices, which are entirely conventional by the way, I ended up going into spontaneous labour right on 40 weeks and had a smooth delivery, I would have a word with him. Today he came to visit the baby. He asked me if I've started exercising yet. Both my husband and I were surprised and said no, and my husband added that I needed bed rest, on the advice of both my obstetrician and physiotherapist. My physiotherapist advised half an hour on my feet per day, gradually increasing it and going for small walks but avoiding intense exercise for 6 weeks. My father-in-law said he disagreed. Okay, then he asked me if I've been weighed yet. That threw us both for a loop. We didn't know why that would matter. Not that it should matter, but I'm a petite woman and have always been skinny. I look appropriate for 1 week postpartum. Then he said I should be careful about diabetes down the line. My husband asked him what that had to do with my weight, and he said, well, you should look to getting back in shape. I saw red. I told him to keep his nose out of my body and that I already had a team of doctors looking after me, and he wasn't one of them. He said I'm coming from the point of a concerned father-in-law. I replied that's even more inappropriate and that any more unsolicited comments I would consider not allowing him in my house. He looked taken aback but apologised, mumbling about concern, and then left. He has a history of depression and looked very sad when he departed, which made me doubt myself. Am I the idiot? Now, for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. Wow, thank you for all the comments, and I'm so sorry that with a newborn I don't have time to individually reply thank you, especially for the kind words and empathy. For some more information, my gestational diabetes was very well controlled and the baby had no blood sugar issues when born. I'm an active person and even continued with a weekly CrossFit class until 38 weeks with safe adjustments. My delivery was smooth, but yes, I had a few stitches from tearing. 3 nights ago, the sleep deprivation caught up with me and I had an epileptic seizure, which was quite violent. I banged my head on the wooden floor a few times and did a little damage to the healing area as well as my back. My physio therefore advised me to take it slow and only be on my feet to exercise for 30 minutes. The medication given to me temporarily to boost my base dose of regular anti-seizure medication is also a sedative. I still get up and do things, but I'm back resting pretty quickly. This is our first kid and the pregnancy, delivery and recovery was no joke. The whole thing felt like an extreme sport. We are in Australia, so my husband has 3 months parental leave and the support from him and my family has been fantastic. I also am on leave. My father-in-law has not retained his licence, and I agree that his work was a big part of his personality. He called up before to apologise and said he will stay away from giving any medical advice or comments, so I am feeling a lot better about things and drawing a line under this saga. Comment 2. Not the idiot, but I disagree with a lot of comments saying his intent was malicious or controlling. I genuinely think he may be trying to help in the way he feels he can the best. Or at least without further context, I can't say his intentions were bad. The way you implied that you and your husband were surprised makes me feel like this isn't normal behaviour from him. Everyone likes to feel like their professional opinion is worthwhile and desired, but he pushed too far. I don't think you're TA for telling him to stop, but I do think it could have been done in a more gentle way if he was genuinely just being overly vocal with unsolicited advice. To his credit, he also seemed to have genuine reasons for his comments too, not just hurry up and lose the baby weight so you'll be nice and housewife-shaped or some drivel like that. Edit. Guys, come on. I'm clearly not insinuating she should follow his unsolicited advice. It says right there that I think she was right to tell him to stop, but that his comments were coming from a genuine place of concern for her health instead of a malicious or hurtful intent, and that people in general want to feel useful in stressful situations. And this was how he felt he could be useful, even if he was wrong. Whether or not he's right isn't my place to examine. I'm just going on what OP has said about the situation and responding to the "Am I the idiot?" question LOL. Comment 3. Not the idiot. He may be a doctor, but he's not your doctor. Just keep telling him that you are not his patient and that you don't want unsolicited advice. He said, I'm coming from the point of a concerned father-in-law. He's just trying to exert control where he has no authority to do so. I'd tell him to bugger off until he can treat you with kindness and respect. Now for the update. Well, things took another turn for the weird. My father-in-law, let's still call him Dr. Meddlesome, has not backtracked on his intrusive behaviour. Instead, he's taken it to a whole new level of awful. A few days ago, he showed up unannounced with a full-on gym set. Yes, you read that correctly. The man wheeled in a bloody elliptical machine into our living room and said it was a gift. He thought it would help me get back in shape quicker. I was flabbergasted, to say the least, but that's not all. As if this wasn't bad enough, he started scheduling calls with me to discuss my diet. He had the gall to question what I was eating and if I was feeding the baby right. He even went so far as to suggest that my breast milk wasn't nutritious enough because my diet wasn't balanced. And here's the cherry on top of this crap sundae. He started sending me links to online fitness classes, even after being told multiple times that I needed to rest and heal. These links were accompanied by texts about how some women need a push to get back to their pre-pregnancy bodies. My husband, bless him, has been supportive and has tried to put his foot down, but Dr. Meddlesome just won't stop. We've had multiple conversations with him about boundaries and respect, but it seems like he's hell-bent on not understanding. This whole ordeal has been stressful, to say the least, and the last thing I need is to feel self-conscious about my body while I'm trying to heal and take care of a newborn. I'm seriously considering banning him from the house until he gets his act together. We'll see how that goes. Now for the comments. Comment 1. Not the idiot. Your father-in-law clearly lacks understanding of boundaries and respect for your personal choices. You are a grown woman, and it's your body, your rules. You have the right to heal and get back in shape at your own pace. Regardless of his intentions, his actions are not helpful but intrusive and disrespectful. What's worse is his refusal to see the error of his ways despite being called out. You have every right to ban him from your house until he learns to respect your boundaries. Comment 2. Not the idiot. It's alarming that despite your husband trying to communicate with him, Dr. Meddlesome still doesn't get the message. It's not only about your body and health, but also about your mental well-being. His constant intrusions and unsolicited advice can add unnecessary stress and pressure, which is the last thing you need during your recovery. It's not about being ungrateful for his concern or his gifts, but about reclaiming your autonomy and space. If banning him from the house is what it takes for him to understand, then so be it. Comment 3. Not the idiot. It's concerning that Dr. Meddlesome seems to think he knows better about your health and body than you or your own healthcare provider. This is not only disrespectful, but also potentially harmful. His constant interference is clearly causing you distress, and that's not good for your recovery. You have a right to feel safe and comfortable in your own home, and if banning him is what it takes to achieve that, then you shouldn't feel guilty about it. Now, for the next story. So me, a 38-year-old female, and my best friend forever, a 39-year-old female, have been friends for 26 years. We have had similar medical issues throughout our lives, and I suggested a surgical procedure that I had done. Her doctor agreed that it would benefit her too, so she gets scheduled and tells me it was scheduled for my birthday. I was shocked but kept my cool, and I politely asked her to reschedule for another day. This was told to me on July 17th, 2023. My birthday is on October 16th. There was more than enough time to make arrangements for another day. She said she needs me to take care of her after surgery, but I have annual birthday plans with my family who are coming into town specifically for my birthday. I personally think it's rude and I find it selfish. I know I sound selfish, but I would never schedule surgery on her birthday because in March 2023, she scheduled her ablation surgery on my mother's birthday, which was and still is an emotional day for me, as she, my mum, has been gone for 17 years. I want to be there for my friend, but I don't think I should have to put my birthday on hold either. I get one day a year where I get to go out and enjoy my friends and family all together with me. She never comes to my annual parties anyway due to her addiction recovery and triggers, alcohol, and I respect that, and we always do something else aside from my annual get-together. My parents are flying in on Sunday night and leaving on Tuesday morning. They have an entire itinerary planned for the day, and I told them about her surgery, and they too said to ask her to reschedule. It's not major surgery, it's not life or death. It's a common female procedure that can be pushed back a week. I have no issue helping her during her 6-8 week recovery period, but why didn't she reschedule? Why is she like this? So am I the jerk for not being there on her day of surgery? Now for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. Why does she need to reschedule anything? That's so weird of you to both demand stuff from each other. My surgery is scheduled for your birthday. Okay, my family is flying in to celebrate my birthday, so I won't be able to help you from this date to this date. I can come over to help once they've all gone home. Done. No drama. I had to double-check the ages here because you both sound like you're immature. Forgive me, but it's true. If your BFF can't handle her surgery without specifically having your support, she can reschedule. Do you think she gets some kind of weird kick out of making you reschedule your life around her issues? You say she scheduled her last surgery on your mother's birthday, when she apparently knows how hard that day is for you. The big question here is, why do you put up with it? Scheduled surgeries are sometimes at the whim of the hospital, so maybe she can't help when the date is, but where in the friendship handbook does it say that only you have to be on hand to help with her recovery? She can get a visiting nurse or she can reschedule the surgery, but you are her friend, not her lackey. Honestly, this whole scenario sounds weirdly codependent. Comment 2. Not the idiot. It's elective surgery that could be rescheduled to fit the needs of the person she wants to have take care of her. But she's refused. I very nearly went with ESH though, because it does sound like she may want to spend your actual birthday with you, as she, your BFF, is continually left out of your big plans due to her needs. What kind of friends want celebrations that will explicitly exclude the supposedly most important people in their lives? There's also the point that, if you can celebrate your birthday on a different day with her, maybe you could celebrate on a different day with your family for once, especially as you're an adult, and should understand that the world doesn't actually revolve around you on your special day, but ultimately it's elective, and she's forcing you to choose between bailing on her or bailing on your family and friends, and that makes her the bigger AH. Comment 3. Not the idiot. I'm assuming the reason you asked her to reschedule was because she expects you to help her after the surgery, which is totally fair. If you want my help, you need to schedule it around my availability, and I'm not available on or around my birthday. If she wants to keep the surgery scheduled on that day, she needs to find someone else to help. Just tell her that, I'm sorry, but I have family in town, we have plans, and I can't move that. I'm happy to check in on you once everyone leaves, and stick with that. Bottom line is, this sounds like a surgery she could pick another day for. She knew it was your birthday. If she wants you to be there to help her, she needs to reschedule. If she wants to keep the date, she can make other arrangements for care. Now, for the update. In the month since I last posted, things have gone from bad to worse. My best friend did indeed go through with the surgery on my birthday. I didn't attend. Instead, I spent the day with my family as I'd originally planned. My parents and I had a low-key celebration, but the absence of my friend hung heavily over us. A week after the surgery, I went to visit her. I'd been regularly checking in with her through texts and calls, making sure she was recovering well. But when I saw her, she looked frail and worn, a stark contrast to the vivacious woman she used to be. Her eyes watered when she saw me, and she immediately started to apologize. I brushed it off, assuring her that the important part was her recovery. However, as the days passed, her health didn't improve. Complications arose from her surgery that her doctors hadn't anticipated. An infection spread, resistant to antibiotics, and her body grew weaker. It was a heartbreaking sight, seeing my friend reduced to such a state. I stayed by her side as much as I could, helping out with her daily needs, even though it felt like an unending cycle of hospitals and despair. But the worst part of it all was the guilt. I couldn't help but feel like I'd somehow caused all this. Maybe if I'd been there on her surgery day, things would have turned out differently. I understand that it's illogical, that it wasn't my fault, but the guilt gnaws at me and it's a struggle to shake it off. As of today, my best friend of 26 years is in a coma. Her doctors are unsure of when or if she will wake up. I'm holding on to hope, but it's difficult when every day brings more uncertainty. I miss her. I miss our friendship. I regret the argument we had over something as trivial as a birthday. I just pray she'll pull through. Life without her is unimaginable. Now, for the comments. Comment 1. Not the idiot. It's understandable why you might feel guilty, but it's important to realize that your presence at the hospital during your friend's surgery wouldn't have changed the medical outcome. You're not a doctor, and even if you were, it's unlikely that you would have been able to predict or prevent the complications that arose. It's also worth noting that your friend chose to go through with the surgery on your birthday. She probably didn't want you to spend your special day in a hospital. It's natural to wish you'd been there for her, but it's not fair to blame yourself for something that was beyond your control. Comment 2. No idiots here. The guilt you're feeling is a testament to how much you care about your friend. However, you shouldn't be so hard on yourself. The decision to undergo surgery was your friend's, and the consequences, however tragic, are not your fault. It's important to focus on the fact that you're there for her now, during her recovery, rather than dwelling on the past. It's also crucial to remember to take care of yourself during this difficult time. Your friend would want that for you. Comment 3. Not the idiot. While it's clear you're feeling regret and guilt, you should know that these feelings are more about you grappling with the reality of your friend's condition than your actions. It's a natural response to feel like we should have done more when a loved one is in a critical condition, but it's not grounded in reality. You need to forgive yourself. Your friend's medical condition isn't a direct result of your absence, it's a consequence of the surgery. Concentrate your energy on being supportive now and moving forward. Now, for the next story. I have a 16-year-old son, Nate. He's been in this friend group of 5, including him, since they were about 8 years old. We're white, and so are 2 of the other boys, but one is Middle Eastern and another is South Asian. This is relevant. It was Thanksgiving the other day, and the 2 boys that aren't white don't celebrate the holiday, so I always invite them to ours. They usually come, and it's always great fun for the boys, especially since Nate's cousins are either much older or much younger. Like the past few years, I invited them and they both came. My mum also brought her new boyfriend. I've met him before and he seemed fine. He saw the boys in the living room and immediately went, "Now I know those 2 young men aren't yours." I explained to him that they're Nate's friends. He whispered something to my mum, but she just walked away. Okay, whatever. He stood by the boys the whole time, but they didn't seem to care and made conversation with him. I relaxed and left to do something. 20 minutes later, Nate comes up to me saying that Grandma's boyfriend is being weird, so I go see what's happening, and he's interrogating the other boys about their true intentions with Nate and the rest of us. One of the boys jokingly goes, "Damn, you caught us," which sent him spiralling. I interrupted and dragged him to the kitchen where I told him that he needs to leave. He was being pretty discriminatory. He was surprised, and I'm sure he was expecting me to at least give him another chance. But I've read enough stories to know that he'd say something even shittier later. Besides, I care about those boys way more than I care about him. He called my mum over, and she begged me to give him another chance. She'll make sure he keeps his mouth shut. I told her I'm sorry, but I couldn't care less. She got extremely upset and said that I should send the boys home if they're so uncomfortable, plus it's a family holiday. I just shrugged, but she just got annoyed and said if he leaves, she leaves too. I did hesitate, but ultimately decided she can leave too. Mum didn't take that well and said her boyfriend was just saying what they all were thinking, and it's about time those boys stopped infiltrating our family time. They left, and I was still fairly confident until one aunt and her daughters said that it's true that they and others don't like that these 2 boys are at every Thanksgiving, sometimes Christmas, and it's a little suspicious, but it's not a race thing. They said it was pretty terrible of me to choose random teenage boys over family, but I told them they were welcome to leave as well, and they shut up. I don't know if that's what I'm doing, but apparently many of them feel this way. Am I the idiot for choosing these boys over family? Mum won't talk to me either. Edit. Canada has Thanksgiving in October. It was on the 9th. Now, for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. Not the idiot. Your mum's BF was so out of line, and it was good for those boys and your own son to see an adult stand up for what's right, even if means Grandma was offended and left. If you had let him stay, it would have shown you condone what he said. Does your aunt have any legitimate claims against the boys aside from their mere presence at holiday gatherings? We don't get to choose our blood relatives, but we get to choose our family. These boys are so lucky to have you. Thank you for opening your home and heart to them. Comment 2. Not the idiot. Boys that have grown up beside my son and are among his closest friends are not random young men. They are our extended family of choice. It's a pity you all chose Mum's discriminatory bed warmer of the hour over DS and his friends, but you're no longer welcome here until you get your head straight. Comment 3. Not the idiot. Your family stinks. My siblings and I always brought friends home who had nowhere to go for the holidays, a lot of them international students or people who'd been rejected by their parents, and they were always welcomed by everyone. Now for the update, so buckle up, because the past 2 weeks have been a whirlwind to say the least. The fallout from Thanksgiving has been intense, but definitely noteworthy. Firstly, my mother decided to break up with her awful boyfriend because of his behaviour, a decision she made after a long chat with my sister and I. She was upset, but she realized that his disgusting display was a red flag she couldn't ignore. Secondly, Nate and his friends took it upon themselves to educate their school about racism. They've been working with some of their teachers to get approval for an awareness assembly. Not only did they get the green light, but the school decided it would be a reoccurring thing. For the first assembly, they had each of the boys talk about their respective cultures and experiences with racism. They were incredibly brave and received a standing ovation from their peers. Now onto the real bombshell. A few days ago, my youngest sister, the one who had expressed discomfort about the boys at family gatherings, showed up at my doorstep, teary-eyed. After some coaxing, she admitted that she'd been dating one of the white boys from Nate's group secretly. She was afraid of our family's reaction, given the fallout at Thanksgiving. Needless to say, I was shocked, but I assured her that as long as she was treated right, I didn't care about the boy's race. We had a long heart-to-heart where I explained the importance of not letting our family's prejudices cloud her own judgment. Finally, my mother has been coming over more, spending time with Nate and his friends. It's clear she's trying to make amends for her ex-boyfriend's behavior, and it's been nice to see. In fact, she was the one who volunteered to drive the boys to their first assembly. In conclusion, I'm glad I stood up for these boys. Even though it started a hurricane of events, it also sparked change. It's made me realize that sometimes standing against family for what you believe is right can lead to a better future for everyone involved. Now for the comments. Comment 1. Not the idiot. You've shown immense maturity and tolerance in handling situations that are emotionally charged and complex. Helping your younger sister navigate her feelings without the influence of family prejudices was an incredibly thoughtful gesture. It's important to separate individuals from the stereotypes or biases we may hold against a group, and it seems like you've done a commendable job in doing so. Your mother's efforts to make up for her ex-boyfriend's behavior show recognition of past mistakes and a willingness to change, which is admirable. Standing up against racism and organizing an awareness assembly is no small feat, and you should be proud of your contribution. Comment 2. Not the idiot. Not the E. The fact that you supported your sister when she revealed her secret relationship with one of the boys, despite knowing there might be some backlash from your family, shows your commitment to fairness and justice. You didn't let familial bias cloud your judgment, and instead chose to support your sister. It's noteworthy that you managed to maintain your composure and integrity in such a tense situation. Moreover, you took a stand against racism in your school, which is a brave and commendable act. It's heartening to see that your actions have led to positive changes in your family and school community. Comment 3. Not the idiot. The maturity and wisdom you've shown in these situations is commendable. In a time where it was easy to let prejudices cloud judgment, you upheld your values and stood by your sister. You recognized the importance of her autonomy and feelings, which is a testament to your empathy and understanding. Additionally, your efforts to combat racism in your school community have undoubtedly made a significant impact. It's great to see that your mother is making efforts to atone for her past mistakes. Your actions leading to such positive changes show the power of standing up for what's right. If you like this video, you'll probably like these too. Also, while you're here, please consider subscribing. It's your support that keeps this channel alive and allows me to make better and longer videos. Have a great day.